potential will last for a while, at least into tomorrow. It'll be dangerous where it's prone to flooding. All right, Ian?
Yeah, always the longer fuse nature of that. But yeah, no question, that thing made a big jog off to the right.
Breaking developments from the Caribbean tonight as Hurricane Melissa completes its assault on Jamaica, a storm that will be remembered as one of the most intense to strike the island in recent memory, bringing catastrophic winds approaching 150 miles per hour and life-threatening storm surge to vulnerable coastal communities. Devastating Hurricane Melissa continues its destructive path after striking the Caribbean island nation of Jamaica with catastrophic force. The powerful storm system has battered the island with extreme sustained winds reaching 145 miles per hour, registering an atmospheric pressure of 921 millibars at its center. The tempest initially approached from the southern waters, making its most intense contact with land around 1 o'clock in the afternoon local time. The storm's center passed directly over the coastal settlement of New Hope, which sits alongside the neighboring community of White House.
North, Ian, I think it's moving more east. So I think what's happened is he's gotten into more of the core of the hurricane. The system has kind of jogged one way or the other. It jogged right next to Montego Bay. It looks like they got the western eye wall. Now it looked like it's jogging back to the east. At least, tell you what, we're going to look on the satellite here and see if you're seeing the same thing I am.
These towns experienced the full fury of the hurricane's remarkably circular eye, though the mountainous terrain immediately behind these coastal areas disrupted the storm's symmetrical structure. The towering peaks forced rising air currents that created additional cloud formation, causing the northern portion of the eye to become obscured and distorted as the circulation collided with the elevated landscape. Communities along the southwestern shoreline bore the brunt of devastating storm surge. Black River and Treasure Beach faced particularly alarming conditions as massive waves driven by the hurricane's powerful winds crashed onto the coast.
So this north-northeast movement has been the general long-term movement for a while, although it looks like it is bending to the east, which was forecast. More of a bend, kind of arcing of this thing as the upper-level winds in the jet stream pick it up. So there's where it is right now. I also just, when we're on this image, just want to mention that this is not over for Haiti yet. We haven't talked about them, but that poor country, they're on the free.
These locations suffered extensive damage from the incoming water flow, with fears mounting about the severity of destruction in these vulnerable areas. The hurricane's path showed notable fluctuations as it traversed the island. The system's general trajectory followed a north-northeast direction for an extended period, though recent observations indicate a pronounced shift toward the east. This bending motion aligns with forecasted predictions as upper atmosphere, wind patterns, and jet stream currents begin capturing and steering the massive weather system.
Fringe of this, and they have been, and they've gotten feet of rain. And that we're going to hear about that one of these days, that something terrible has happened there, I'm sure. All right, here you see the Hurricane Melissa making landfall here in Jamaica. Let's go close up on this. Okay, watch this now. Look at all the jogs back and forth. Now there you see the move.
The storm's course brought it within approximately 10 miles of the major tourism center of Montego Bay before veering eastward. Montego Bay residents experienced the western eye wall of the hurricane, typically the less intense side of such rotating storms, though still presenting significant danger. The city faced powerful wind gusts and the threat of coastal flooding as the storm's circulation pushed water toward the shoreline. Thousands of people throughout the northern past sections of the country sought shelter as hurricane-force winds swept across populated areas.
To right there. See, it came up right near Montego Bay. It's about 10 miles away, then jogged off to the east. Now, it looks like to me it's over here somewhere now. And Robert is right in here. So I think what's happened is the core of the storm, which might be something like that, has just gotten closer to him, and it is on the north side of the mountains now. So as you say, that the winds coming around this way are uninhibited by the mountains, or much less inhibited to get to that location.
The tempest's impact extends beyond Jamaica's borders. The neighboring nation of Haiti, already facing numerous hardships, has endured days of torrential rainfall on the outer edges of the hurricane's circulation. Mountainous regions have received feet of accumulated precipitation, raising serious concerns about catastrophic flooding and mudslides in this particularly vulnerable nation. The ongoing deluge will likely result in tragic consequences that may not be fully understood for several days.
We're definitely seeing, to my eye, a shift to the east, a wobble, whether it's just a wobble or now a more of a move. So that north-northeast movement is kind of, you have to kind of average all this out, and it's doing something like that. Let's go back to landfall. It was 1 o'clock this afternoon, and watch here. Let me take this back to 1 p.m. and 102, 102.
Current projections indicate that hurricane-force wind gusts will persist across northern Jamaica until approximately 8 o'clock in the evening, Eastern Standard Time, which corresponds to 7 o'clock local time. By 2 o'clock in the morning Jamaica time, wind speed should diminish to more manageable levels. However, the danger will not immediately subside once the winds calm. Darkness will prevent assessment and rescue operations until sunrise, as electrical power throughout much of the country has been knocked offline by the storm's destructive force.
And that's affecting the cloud cover. It's kind of kicking the air up into the air, creates more clouds. So that's why you see the eye filled in here on this northern side and getting kind of distorted. But the circular part of the eye, the old eye, the center of it came.
Additionally, the enormous volumes of water dumped on Jamaica's mountainous interior will continue flowing downhill for many hours after the storm passes. Rivers and streams will remain dangerously swollen, and areas prone to flooding will face heightened risk, extending well into the following day. Low-lying valleys and floodplains remain extremely hazardous zones, where rushing water poses life-threatening danger to anyone attempting to navigate these areas too soon. The hurricane's interaction with Jamaica's dramatic topography created unusual effects on the storm's structure and local conditions.
Treasure Beach, we're just fearful that that's really in bad shape there. Look to the north, and you can kind of make out the way that the clouds are kind of pushing this way as the system is pushing that way. Montego Bay, when the system was right in here, was on this way.
Mountains rising directly behind coastal settlements provided some shielding for certain locations during specific phases of the storm's passage. However, as the hurricane's center moved northward and eastward, winds began approaching from directions where the terrain offered less protection. This shift exposed previously sheltered areas to the storm's full intensity, causing rapid deterioration of conditions as the massive weather system continued its relentless advance. Weather specialists tracking the hurricane note that while the system has maintained remarkable intensity throughout its assault on Jamaica, the mountainous terrain has disrupted its perfect symmetry.
That is a significant issue. So there's where the Hurricane Center has it as of 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Just offshore and not far from Montego Bay. There are the hurricane force winds coming around right into Montego Bay where all those people are sheltered. Now, these are the hurricane force gusts here. You see only over the northern part of the country now as the system is moving away. So let's see how long it's going to take to move away. About 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m.
The storm's core showed clear wobbling motions as it navigated the complex landscape, with its center making several small directional changes over short time periods. These minor course adjustments, combined with the broader eastward turn, reflect the intricate interplay between the hurricane's internal dynamics and both the island's geography and the larger atmospheric steering currents guiding its path. As the massive storm system moves away from Jamaica and heads into open waters once more, attention turns to potential future impacts. The hurricane maintains Category 4 intensity on the Saffir-Simpson scale, with winds still at 145 miles per hour.
That's when the hurricane force gusts move away. Then by 2 a.m. in Jamaica, the wind should let up. But two things have yet that would have to happen after that. One is the sun has to come up because they won't have much electricity in the country. Second is the water still has to come down from the mountains. So the flood.
Upper-level wind patterns will continue influencing its trajectory, likely causing the system to arc further toward the northeast as it encounters faster-moving atmospheric currents associated with the jet stream. This steering mechanism will determine whether any additional land areas face threats from this exceptionally powerful and dangerous hurricane in the coming days. The full scope of destruction across Jamaica will only become clear once daylight returns and communication networks can be restored. Coastal areas that experienced direct storm surge impact likely suffered the most severe damage, with structures near the waterline potentially destroyed or swept away entirely. Inland flooding from the extraordinary rainfall will compound the disaster, particularly in valleys and along waterways where water flowing down from saturated mountainsides overwhelms normal drainage systems. Recovery efforts will face enormous challenges as the island nation begins assessing the extent of this natural